So the $1.9 trillion stimulus package recently passed the House of Representatives with every single Democrat voting for it except for two, and zero, zero, a goose egg, Republican votes. So it passed with no Republican votes, period, and every single Democrat voted for it except for two. Now, first and foremost, those two Democrats that didn't vote for it need to be voted out of office immediately. Hopefully, the American people are paying attention to this, which I believe that they are, because they should, and they should be shamed endlessly for it. And in regard to the zero GOP votes, I don't know if you guys have been seeing this or not, but recently, the GOP has been trying to sort of rebrand themselves. You know, with Donald Trump and this new era of politics, populism is on the rise. Now, there's different kinds of populism in the sense that how people view it. A lot of people have a distorted view of what populism actually is and what a populist actually looks like. Donald Trump is no populist. Josh Hawley is no populist. They're frauds. But there's this growing movement on the right where they're trying to act or make themselves look like they're trying to portray themselves as more populist. And you have figures like Ted Cruz spouting bullshit saying that the Republican Party is the party of the working class and we care about the workers. But the stimulus package got zero votes from the GOP in the House. None. How can you turn around in the same breath and say you care about the American people and the people that are struggling during this pandemic, but don't cast a single vote for the stimulus package? So they're frauds, but we knew that already. But anyway, what's the most interesting thing about this, and we're going to revisit this minimum wage topic because it's very, very prominent in our discourse today. The $50 minimum wage also passed. That was tacked on to the bill in the House. Now, the development that arose very recently is that the minimum wage hike will not be attached to the bill in the Senate. So it passed in the House, which is great. Good for them. But it will not be on the bill in the Senate because the Senate parliamentarian, a position that no one knew existed until like a week ago, said that, nah, can't happen, slapped it down. But the funny thing about that is her role, it's a her in this instance, her role, it's purely advisory. So the Democrats can get Kamala Harris, for instance, the vice president, to go, no, overruled, the minimum wage will be on this $1.9 trillion stimulus package. It will be included. We can pass it through budget reconciliation. But the Democrats are so classic Democrats, you know, civility, decorum, standards, the process, we have to do it the right way. No, they're just going to say, oh, well, the parliamentarian said we can't do it, so we can't do it. I mean, what do you want us to do? Our hands are tied. We can't, I mean, we wanted to raise the minimum wage, but we can't do it. Keep in mind, this is the one thing that Joe Biden promised Bernie Sanders when he asked, hey, do you support a $15 minimum wage? Bernie could have did anything. He could have not campaigned for Joe Biden. He could have sent him some executive orders like, do these and I'll support you, you know, so you can become the next president. He didn't extract any concessions from him. He just got word salad on a $15 minimum wage, which he now is throwing away. Biden is. He's just like reneging on that promise entirely. When he's unfooted saying, yes, I support it. And one could say, well, he said he supports it. He didn't say he was going to do it. Well, you're exactly right. But that's the fault of Bernie Sanders and his negligence and his naivety. But with that being said, Bernie, being the leader that he is, in some right, although I have my critiques, as many people do, but I love him nonetheless. He is saying that he's going to try to force the vote on the $15 minimum wage. It'll be interesting to see how he goes about that. And you have Ro Khanna and other progressive Democrats in the House that are, I think they are sending or have sent some kind of letter to Joe Biden trying to prod him into getting that $15 minimum wage tacked on to that $1.9 trillion stimulus package. But I think it's pretty much set in stone at this point. They're not going to do it. The Democrats are so, I mean, they just don't know how to win. They just don't know how to win. You see, this is how the GOP solves their problems. In 2001, the then Senate parliamentarian was giving the Republicans trouble when they were trying to pass Bush's, tax cuts and his deregulation and all that. The Senate parliamentarian of the time then was giving them a difficult time. You know what their response was? It wasn't, oh, well, the Senate parliamentarian said this, so we can't do it. No, they fired him. Get the fuck out. There's the door. You may exit. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Matter of fact, let it hit you. That was their response. They fired the guy and brought in a new one that said, no, it's fine. That's how the GOP operates. That's how they handle their problems. But the Democrats, no. Everything has to be done by the process. Everything has to be done by the books. It has to be fair, bipartisanship, word salad, word salad, word salad. And allow me to just say, Joe Biden apparently has time to bomb Syria, and not to mention the fact that not only him, but his administration and many of the corporate Democrats are fighting harder to get Neera Tanden elected as OMB than they are to get the American people this stimulus money and a $15 minimum wage. Let me repeat that one more time. They're putting up a harder fight to get Neera Tanden elected as OMB than they are to get the American people a $15 minimum wage. Let that sink in for a second. And if you don't know who Neera Tanden is, I'll just put it very blunt. She's one of the most corrupt and vile people in Washington, in politics, period. Period. A very, very vituperative figure in regards to her criticism of Bernie Sanders and many people on the left. She's like public enemy number one of any lefty. She just is. And they're trying so hard to get her, elected as OMB when it seems like it's not going to happen. The chances are slim. They're going to hold meetings with people that would seemingly vote no on her confirmation, and they're going to try and persuade them. We'll see how that unfolds. I haven't dropped a video about it because I'm just waiting for the final result at this point. But we'll see what happens with that. But they're putting up a stronger fight, for Neera Tanden than they are for the American people. And I think that speaks volumes. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. So they're reneging on the promise of a $15 minimum wage. And the Senate parliamentarians' justification for this is, oh, well, it won't affect the budget or something like her justification. I really didn't understand because the CBO came out and said that it would actually increase the deficit. And now I don't really agree with the amount that you should be skeptical of anything the CBO says for reasons that don't need to be stated. But the CBO said that it would in fact affect the deficit, so they could pass it through budget reconciliation. But apparently the Senate parliamentarian disagrees. But this is once again the Democrats folding and being weak and vulnerable and just flat out not smart. And as far as the Democrats in the Senate that might not end up supporting this bill for whatever reason, they need to be shamed and they need to be voted out of office. If I was Joe Biden, I'd use my insane popularity right now. I think he has like a 60 or 62% approval rating to get Joe Manchin to bend the knee and any other Senate Democrat that doesn't want to vote for this bill, because it's direly needed right now and the American people can't wait any longer. Many things, I think unemployment runs out actually in March. It's March now. And so many different policies that were implemented with the last round of stimulus needs to be extended with this next one. So hopefully they pass it quickly. But this is just another case of the Democrats being the Democrats, and God knows what this spells out for 2022.